Well, Todd's here. We can start now.
Thank goodness. So I can tell you my wife had to have her oil changed in her car and she was scheduling it for today because it worked for her. And she's like, what time will you be able to, pick me up and bring me home and everything? I'm like, well, I've got this really important thing at 9 o'clock. So we need to schedule around that.
That's
so
right.
I'm actually moving my schedule for this meeting so I get to see you all.
Aww. That's right. The time has come for us to kick off our Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development bi-weekly call. Today is July 17th. We are more than halfway through the month, more than halfway through the year. Where does time go? Well, it flies when you're having fun, and that's what we're doing here today. So let's talk about our agenda. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about things like our latest updates on the community. We are going to talk about Copilot Prompt of the Week, PnP.NET Libraries, PowerShell, script samples, Copilot Camp, and actually some pro dev samples as well are coming back, latest on Power Platform samples, and then, of course, everyone's favorite time, picture time. Yes, so get those fantastic faces ready. And then we've got our five amazing presenters, 3 presentations of the day. Mohammed is here. He's going to talk about building SharePoint Agents Finder as a declarative agent. Excited for that. Arne and Peter are going to be here talking about extending PnP modern search, and Franck and Cornu are going to be talking about OnboardD, your personalized AI employee onboarding coach. So a lot of very cool things in store for us today. But first, if you are new here, we want to make sure that you understand there are lots of resources available for each and every one of you in our community. And guess what? They are 100% free, cost absolutely nothing. So our first is our Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. This is one where we are breaking all the rules in all the right ways. YouTube tells us all the time, hey, you guys post a lot. Would your stats would be better if you didn't. And we said, we don't care. We're here to share information with the community. New videos are dropped each and every day. It's where calls like this are hosted, amongst other demos that everyone else is doing in the community get shared. So go smash that like and subscribe button for those videos to be alerted to all the latest videos. We've got our LinkedIn group for discussions. We've got our open source tooling. We've got our sample galleries that span the spectrum from Teams and SPFX, Power Platform, list formatting. The list goes on and on and on. But you do not need to remember all of these things to take advantage of them. You only need to remember one URL, maybe 2, depending on how you like, aka.ms/community/home, or our fancy top-level domain, community.ms, will give you access to all these cool resources. So just got to remember 1 or 2 of them. So if you're on the call and you like calls, then we want to ensure you know about our other calls. We've got our weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform call. This is one that we typically have with Microsoft speakers, but there's a community takeover right now showcasing a lot of those hackathon entries that went on amongst the SharePoint hackathon and the Powerful Devs event from a few months ago. We also have our monthly Power Platform call. It just happened yesterday. So if you've got a flux capacitor, you go back time and enjoy it live. Otherwise, hey, just watch it on YouTube. Office add-ins, we've got our bi-weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform and VP Connections and SharePoint Framework sibling calls. Those flip-flop in topics every single week. And you can get access to those at ak.ms/community/calls. You can also see all of the agendas published at Meetup. So go to ak.ms/community/meetup, and you'll be able to see all the goodness that is coming up for the next week. So you can make sure you get your calendars packed with them. Speaking of that weekly call, the Microsoft 365 Power Platform weekly call is going to be on Tuesday. So we're going to have a couple back from Microsoft. Monkrot is going to talk about bringing your own model from Azure Foundry along with Copilot Studio. And then the one and only Gary Trender is going to be talking about integrating Azure AI Foundry Agent with M365 Agents SDK. Isabel and Steve from Quizzitive will be here talking about their SharePoint Hackathon entry. It was one of the award winners, most beautiful internet homepage, Asimov Robotics. So they're going to show off how they created that video and all the different choices that they made, which is going to be super cool. So we want to make sure we support all of our presenters there. All right, now if you're watching, you're thinking, hey, I want to present. Some people are showing off some cool stuff here, and I think I've got cool stuff. Do I have cool stuff? Is my stuff cool enough? Yes, it absolutely is. We encourage everyone to request to present. If you've created a cool snippet, sample, demo, you've got a cool thing that you figured out, don't feel like it has to make time travel possible or it has to be something no one else in the world has ever seen. We absolutely appreciate all the work that you're putting in. And your voice on something that someone else has already presented is okay. Different people hear different things in different ways, so we're all learning together, and there's always someone new in the community. So take advantage of this opportunity. We'll help you. If you need a buddy, we can buddy up with you too. So just let us know when you fill in the form, and we would love to set you up. Now, we've also got our Sharing is Caring program. It's going to be scheduled here soon. Again, I know I've been saying that, but everybody's been on vacation, so we're trying to work around that. We had one just a couple of weeks ago. These are sessions that are live. They're hands-on. They are opportunities for you to learn how to do more. So if you do want to contribute to the community, but you're not sure about that GitHub thing, all those fancy and complex terms like pull request and fork and blame and raw, what does that mean? That means that we're going to teach you them. Live, hands-on in a session. It's a safe space, which means that we do not record it, and that means that you can feel free to ask any and all questions without the fear of it going on record, because sometimes we're like, I don't want to ask a question because it's being recorded, and no one else is asking the question, so maybe it's a dumb question, and then it never gets asked, and we never learn. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to learn. So take advantage of it. Be on the lookout. We'll let everybody know as well when we get that scheduled. I promise it'll be in the next couple of weeks to ensure that you can get it on your calendars with plenty of time. And then, of course, when we do contribute, we want to make sure that we're all recognized, and that is where our recognition program comes in. Excited about this right now because we just got labeled Best in Class by Credly. We've got really cool badges like Prompt Pro, Snippet Sorcerer, Modern Search. We've got our React controls. We've got our list formatting, right? Horsing around. And, of course, it is superhero season. So Parker, the Porcupine Rises. This is the bonus badge that you can get if you contribute and earn all 4 of the other badges before the end of October. So you got 4 full months. Well, I guess for 3.5 months because it's halfway through July. Plenty of time, though, to contribute to earn all these badges. They are real. They are accredited, which means that you can show them to your manager. You can show them to your clients and say, hey, I'm making a difference in the community. I'm contributing. I'm helping shape the technology that we use each and every day. So while we are having fun with them, we also want to make sure to recognize that they are real, they are accredited, and there are plenty of opportunities here to show off that you're making contributions in a variety of areas. And hey, has someone had time to gain and earn them all? You betcha. Welcome and congratulations to Bo Cameron, who is the first in our community to have earned all 5 badges. So really, really cool. The first 4 is what you earn. Parker, the Porcupine Rises is a bonus badge, so you get that one for no cost, if you will. It's a free program overall, everybody, by the way. There's no cost at all, but you get that Porcupine Rises as the bonus badge. So when you earn those other 4, the Code Crusader, Lasso of Learning, Cosmic Contributor, or Adamantium Achiever, then you get that one at no additional contribution, because you already made them. So to learn more, head over to aka.ms/community/recognition or badges.community.ms. And we absolutely would love to see others added to this list and recognize as many as we can. So great job, Bo. Amazing work on PnPJS too. That is another whole nother topic of amazing contributions. So thank you for all the work that you do. You're incredible. All right, let's get into some project-specific updates. We're going to start with our PnP Copilot prompt library. This is a great space to contribute to, by the way, everybody, because we're all kind of learning that love language with Copilot and AI, what makes it tick, what makes it work, and we're gaining what would be our own skill sets around how to prompt with it, how to converse with it, and likely you've learned something. And so share it with the community. These can span a wide spectrum of use cases within the technology or life hacking, how to use something around gardening or some other real life scenario. So with that in mind, we have our prompt of the week from Adam. Great job here, task recovery assistant. I won't read the whole thing here, but he tells it to act as my task recovery assistant, search across my data, including Outlook, specifically look for tasks that were assigned to me, but I haven't responded or completed, right? So it's kind of a great way to hit it. Hey, what did I miss? I'm a busy person. I need to go figure out what I missed so that nobody gets mad at me. So Adam, amazing job. Thank you again, everybody. You could be the prompt of the week. Don't hesitate to get contributing. Really great stuff. Really excited for this. And thank you for everyone that has already contributed. All right, let's move over to PnP PowerShell with Gautam.
Hey, thanks, David. PnP PowerShell updates. So for those of you who don't know, PnP PowerShell is a PowerShell library that you can use to connect to various Microsoft 365 services. And in the latest nightly builds, what we did was we improved the device login experience for Linux and Azure Cloud Shell environments. So what used to happen is in Azure Cloud Shell, we have very limited access to certain things such as the clipboard as well as the browser setup itself. So we managed to improve that, and there was some weird errors there. So we fixed that. What else? In federated identity as well, we improved support for that. So now you won't need to specify tenant ID or the client ID in correct PNP Online when you use the federated identity as the authentication model. What else? Besides that, there are minor bug fixes and improvements that are going on. Feel free to reach out to us in case you run into any particular issues. Would love to hear from you. So, thanks. Over to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Gautam. Great work. Again, 48 or 41.8 million downloads, 140 million commandless execute per day. Just astounding numbers. Just really amazing. Thank you, Gautam, for all the hard work there. All right, let's move into script samples. Another awesome opportunity to contribute. Paul Bullock, tell us more.
Yeah, so script samples is somewhere where you can share your script samples with the community. So all of us have got PowerShell scripts somewhere in our repositories over the years. I support things like Microsoft Graph, PnP PowerShell, SVO Management Shell, CLI, and many more. We've got, as you can see by the numbers, a few hundred there for you to explore. And these are available as well through Adam Waldrick's really cool extension for Visual Studio Code. So you can have a look at that too. And we've got 4 awesome new samples for you. We've got Tenant Governance Compliance Report by Velarus Nebutus, who's actually done 3 out of 4, actually, so that's really cool. So he's also produced Copilot Studio Assets Automation. He's got 2 samples with that one, actually, so it is listed twice because he's done a CLI for M365 and a Graph SDK version, which is really cool. And then the final one on the list is PnP PowerShell by Reshmi Aklu, who created Converting SharePoint Sharing Links to Canonical URLs. So that's a really cool example. They're really great scripts. I absolutely recommend checking them out. And again, huge thank you. You're absolutely awesome. But if you need help contributing and you don't know where to start, by all means, you can reach out to me. I'm a friendly chap most of the time. I don't bite. And there's a badge in it for you. So yeah, you can get rewarded through the sharing is caring scheme as well. And
awesome. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and I think you got something else for us, right?
I have got something else for you. So, as you may know, Bob German had left, not left, he had retired very kindly. So I thought I'd take up the mantle and continue his work with at least promoting this repository and at least more importantly saying thank you to the contributors, to those that have contributed since March. So I picked this up. We hadn't promoted this since March. There's quite a few here since then. So I won't read them all out to you, but I just want to call out, Reshmi, Juliana, Eike, I won't call myself out, but Gary, Sebastian, Mohammed, Peter Paul, any others, who have created a whole range of samples for you. So these could be declarative agents with API plugins, type spec based agents, because that's the new kid on the block. So these are Copilot extensive examples. We've got a repo for you with over 51 samples, and it's growing. And there doesn't have a website on it, but you can go to the solution sample gallery as well to find those, or that link at the bottom for the repo as well. So absolutely check that out. These are great samples. Thank you very much for those contributions as well. They're absolutely amazing. Some really great ideas. I recommend go check that out. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. You missed your opportunity to say, allow myself to appreciate myself when you talked about your samples. So we appreciate you very much, Paul. Yeah.
Else remember.
and hey, everybody, and Sanford just asked in the chat, there will be some badges dedicated for this. So Paul and I were just talking about that this morning. So be on the lookout for some Copilot ProDev sample dedicated badges. We're excited to get those set up for everybody. And you will earn them retroactively, by the way. So if you've already contributed, we will make sure that all those are retroactively issued, and you will earn them for prior contributions as well. So excited for that. Okay, Kate is out today, so I'll cover the Power Platform samples, snippets, and prompts. So we appreciate these samples and snippets. We've got them from Michael and Felix and Steve and David and Jean and Arjan. So thank you all for these. Won't be able to go into the details of each and every one of them, but tons of opportunity. Really love the snippets. Excited about that. And the YAML did a demo on this. I could always share later in a call that talks about what YAML snippets are, how you could use them. And I love to see things like the SVG animations. Really super cool. That's another opportunity to submit, because you're really just taking stuff you've already created and you're sharing it with the community, and all you got to do is copy and paste. So super excited. Thank you again for everybody. You can check out some of those at ak.ms/Power Platform samples. And again, appreciate all the work that everybody is doing across the spectrum for all the samples. Would not be possible to highlight this amazing work without the passion and dedication of you all. So thank you. All right, we are just about on time. So guess what? That time is picture time. So let's get those cameras turned on. I will move this over. So as everybody starts loading up, Todd is grown. He is very, very big. Now he's back it up. All right, let me get Camtasia set up here, and we'll give Teams time to catch up. There we go. We'll move that over here. All right. Give everybody just another second or two. Great to see some friendly faces in there, some smiles. Love the hearts. We will get this going. Give it just another second. Want to make sure everybody's got proper time for their demos. All right, good, good, good. Excellent. There's Amory. Love to see everybody. Okay, Peter, awesome. Okay, let's do a countdown, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Great to see you all again. Love the smiles. Faces looking great. Again, this would not be possible without you and all of your passion and empathy for the community. So thank you so, so much. Keep up the great work. We love doing this. We'll share this out on the socials and appreciate all that you're doing. All right, so let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. And with that, we are going to kick into our amazing presenters of the day. We're going to start with Mohammed. He's going to talk about building SharePoint Agents Finder as declarative agent. So Mohammed, feel free to take on over the screen. And the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. One moment. Yeah, do you see my screen?
Yep, it is loaded. Take it away.
Awesome. So, hello everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today to walk you through an exciting demo about building SharePoint Agents Finder as a declarative agent. So before we dive in, let me briefly introduce myself. I am Mohammed, a Microsoft 365 and SharePoint developer, and currently a tech lead at Atea Global Services. I'm deeply passionate about building impactful solutions for Microsoft 365 and giving back to the community through open source contributions, community talks, and blog posts. Feel free to connect with me through the social links on the slide. You will find my GitHub samples and my blog there as well. So the agenda for today is going to be about the challenge that I faced and the solution, how I find a solution for the challenge, the prerequisites for my solution, and talking deep about the SharePoint Agents Finder agent, plugin, and setup, and then demo and exploring the code and some references. The challenge. Let me ask you first, how many of you have tried to maybe get Copilot to list all the SharePoint agents on a site? I mean, have you tried to build a prompt to list all SharePoint agents on a site? If you have struggled, then you are definitely not alone. I hit the same wall, and unfortunately, Copilot just couldn't seem to retrieve the information about SharePoint agents in SharePoint sites. The solution. The solution that I found was instead of asking the Copilot to retrieve the agents in SharePoint site, I thought of using a more powerful way to find these files. That's where the Microsoft Graph API comes in. We can leverage the Microsoft Graph API as a Copilot plugin to bring that and to bridge the gap and being able to retrieve information about the SharePoint agents in a site. By simply telling the Graph API to look for the files with those extensions .agent or .copilot, we can discover all our SharePoint agents. And this technique is not just for agents. It could be also used to retrieve files across all your SharePoint sites. I would like to thank Franck. He is one of the presenters today because one of his articles was the inspiration for me to think about how to solve this issue. He did an amazing blog post explaining how to use Microsoft Graph Search as a Copilot plugin. And this is from where I started to think the same and use the Graph API, but to retrieve the SharePoint agents. There are, of course, some prerequisites. And we have here two main prerequisites. The first is creating the Intra ID app registration that should have Graph API permission, files.read.all as delegated permissions. We should save the client ID, client secret, tenant ID somewhere because we are going to use these three in another place in the Microsoft Teams developer portal. And when we create this intra-app registration, we should add this URL in the slide to be a redirect URL for web platform in the authentication settings for our intra-app ID. Second prerequisites will be in the Teams developer portal. This is the URL. How can you explore the Teams developer portal? We should create a new authentication client registration and register a new client with the following information. Registration name, you can give it any name. This is the name of my agent, and the base URL should be the Microsoft Graph endpoint, and restrict usage by organization should be my organization only. Restrict usage by app. At the beginning, you can set it to be Teams app, and when your agent is deployed, you can limit or make it to be use your Teams app ID. After we create the authentication registration in the Teams developer portal, we will have to add the client ID, client secret that we obtained in the previous step of creating Azure app registration, plus adding these three URLs, the authorization endpoint, token endpoint, and refresh endpoint. And remember to replace the tenant ID with your tenant. This is important here in these three endpoints. The scope should be files, files.read.all. After saving the information, we will obtain a new authentication registration key, and we will need this key in the agent, and we should add this key later on in the .env.dev file in our agent. So let's talk about a bit about the SharePoint agents, Finder agent, plugin, and setup. The SharePoint Agents Finder leverages the Microsoft Graph API as a Copilot plugin within a declarative agent. It utilizes the Microsoft Graph Search API endpoint to effectively retrieve information about SharePoint agents within Microsoft 365. This empowers the end users and IT admins to quickly access details on the SharePoint agents, or maybe locate specific files in Microsoft 365 directly through the Copilot chat interface. we should keep in our mind that Microsoft Graph Open API specification file is essential for our plugin to function. For our specific use case, we are going to use the search Microsoft Graph search query endpoint. This is the only relevant endpoint that we are going to use. That's why when we download the Microsoft Graph Search Open API specification file, it is huge. We should extract and prepare the relevant information only. And in our Git repo for this agent, you will find the ready specification file with the extracted and prepared operation that we are going to need. After that, from this Open API specification file, we should generate the Copilot plugin. In order to do that, there is an awesome VS Code extension. Maybe many of you have heard about it. It is Kyoto tool or VS extension. It will help us to achieve that, generate the Copilot plugin information. We'll show you that in few minutes. And once we have the Copilot plugin, then we should import the plugin, the generated Copilot plugin with Microsoft 365 Agent Toolkit in order to be used in our agent. Let's go to a quick demo and exploring the code. So yeah, as we explained, in the APIs folder, we have two YAML files. The one that contains all the operations of Microsoft Graph Open API specification and the required operations in our use case only. So this one is the one that simplified and contain the required operation in our use case. Yeah, it is this one. So we are going to use the this one by Kyoto VS Code extension to generate our plugin. And for our plugin, we have two files. The first one is the description for our plugin and the manifest file for our plugin. You can see here that it contains the conversation starter, the functions that will be used in our agent, and some other references. Once we generate the plugin information using Kyoto VS Code extension, we should import the plugin in our agent using the Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit. This option is available here by adding an action. Once we do that, in my blog post, you will see detailed screenshots on how to add the plugin, import the plugin into our agent, because it is many steps in order to generate it properly. in your agent. So we'll share with you shortly the blog post that has all these details. Once you import this plugin into your agent, you will have these files, or let's say folder. In this folder, you will have the Open API YAML file and the AI plugin. In this file, you will have to change the tenant ID into your tenant and also add the scope of files.read.all. This is important for the plugin in order to function with the agent. And this is the key that I mentioned 1 minute ago that we should obtain from Microsoft Teams developer portal. We should add it also the key here in the env.dev file. And in the instruction, we are here explaining to our agent to utilize the plugin along with the body of our query to Microsoft Graph in order to look for our agents in SharePoint, as you see here. And we will pass a query or keyword that will be added here to the body of our request for Microsoft Graph using the Copilot plugin in order to retrieve the information about our SharePoint agents from SharePoint. And here in our agent, declarative agent, this information will be defined once we import the plugin. So this is just, I wanted to explain here that this file, declarative agent, will be updated once we import the plugin. It will contain this action 1, because this represents the plugin that we just import in our agent. And this is the conversation starter that we will see once we launch our agent. Let's next have a quick demo and see how our agent will function and if it will retrieve something for us or not. Now I'm asking our agent to retrieve something or search for an agent. I'm confirming that this query will run, but I don't think that it will be able to retrieve something because we don't have an agent with this name. So let's see. Well, yeah, it was able to retrieve a few agents, as you see in a table. And if we open this file, then we will be able to see the agent in SharePoint. Yeah, so that was the very quick how to find the agents in SharePoint using Microsoft Declarative Agent. And these are the blog post and repos. Feel free to contribute or ask questions about these agents, and yeah, also the specification file. And thank you. Back to you.
Awesome,
David.
Mohammed. Yeah, awesome stuff. Very, very cool. Really appreciate that. There's a lot of moving pieces, so thank you for sharing that. We'll have you back to do a deeper dive too. The time does move pretty quick when you're all having fun and covering all these things. So really great coverage of the information. So thank you. Great job, Mohammed. Appreciate it. All right, let's get into our next presenters. Arne and Peter are here. Feel free to start taking over the screen, my friends. They are first-time presenters on the call, everybody, so we want to show them a bunch of extra appreciation and love. and they're going to be talking about extending PNP Modern Search. So, my friends, take it away.
Thank you. So hello, everybody. Welcome to our presentation about extending PNP Modern Search. My name is Pieter van Andriessen.
And my name is Arne Meersman.
And we are joining you from Belgium. We're working for the company Delaware, and we will guide you through some cool stuff that we discovered while working with PNP Modern Search. So let's go. So you might all use PNP Modern Search. It's a great community-provided search tool or application, but it limits a bit in what is possible of extensibility. Not limit, but we are limited to HTML, CSS, and handlebars. So yeah, we faced some limitations for certain client work, and we searched for a solution. And there we had the PNP Modern Search extensibility, where we have customized components with logic, custom handlebars that we can create. We can have our own data source. We can have custom query modifications. And yeah, that's something that is lacking in the normal solution, but the team of PNP Modern Search has provided us with an extensibility option where we can create a custom library component in SPFX. So as a developer with SPFX development skills, we can really extend everything or almost everything. If you can dream it, you can do it. And something we will show you a very cool demo of a very simple thing, but it needed an extensibility library, custom library with extensibility to achieve it. Okay, so how can we extend the PNP Modern Search web parts? Very simple. Not simple because we need to do some development, of course, but we need to create an SPFX library component, and that needs to be added to your app catalog. So I already mentioned a library component. There we need to implement an interface, more on that interface later. And that interface will also provide some methods, and we need to fill in those methods to be able to extend PNP Modern Search. Then another step, I will show you it in a screenshot in a minute. We need to register our manifest in the PNP Modern Search web parts. So we do it with our manifest ID, and then then the magic happens. We develop the extension, and we can view the results in our search results web part, and even in our filters web parts, depending on what type of extension that you do. Something very important that we noticed, but also clearly documented in the documentation, is that you should not mix the SPFX versions. So your library components should be in the same version as the PNP Modern Search web part solution that you have downloaded. Okay. So to mention here, for everyone who is a bit familiar with the manifest. So here we have my company library. It's a library component, and there we take the ID of our library component, we copy it, and then on the fourth page of the PNP search results, under the button configure of extensibility configuration, we link our manifest with the PNP search results, and then we can display everything that we have customized. Okay. Then just as a friendly reminder, with gulp-serve, we get a debug string and we can start debugging. But of course, we need to link our web part, but we can debug through gulp-serve. And then the normal package and ship procedure is the same for this library component. We upload it to the app catalog, and then alongside with the PNP Modern Search web parts, we upload our custom library component to the site. Yeah.
Right. Now I'm going to show you guys what we have built. We started out on a new SharePoint page where we added a couple of news pages. We added a PNP Modern Search Results web part, and we added custom styling to it. So we created the custom cards that look like this. all of this can be done without extending PnP Modern Search. But what can be done is the thing that I'm going to add now. So we can add a like component. This is the component that we have custom built for this demo. So I add it here, I click save, and you see a like component appearing on every item. Right now, if I open this example news page, you will see that I did not like this page. If we go back and we like this page here, we open it again, you will see that I have liked it now. So we really use the SharePoint API here, and so this way we can get the actual likes. We can also use a second user. So if I refresh here to show the like icon, I can also like it. So it seamlessly integrates with the different users and different people. So now you see 2 likes. Another thing that we developed is a custom handlebar. We developed a truncate handlebar on the title. So if I copy this and paste it here where we load the title, you will see that long titles get truncated at a length of 40. So for example, here you will see that we now have the 3 dots, but short titles remain the same. Just a quick reminder that everything can be found here, PnP Modern Search / extensibility. This is all the documentation that you will need to create your own custom components. So how do you start by developing this extensibility library? First of all, you start by installing the required packages. A very important package here is the PnP Modern Search extensibility package. This package will contain the classes and the interface that you need to generate this library. Furthermore, we have used React and React DOM because we wanted to use React in our project. So now we see the manifest again. Here you will find the ID, which is used to link the web parts to the PnP search results web part that already exists. This needs to be of component type library. And then the starting point of our project is the My Custom Library component, and this component needs to implement this important interface, the iExtensibility library. This library this can be imported from the PnP Modern Search extensibility package. And once you have implemented this iExtensibility library, you can start creating your own custom handlebars or your own custom components. So this is how you create your own custom web component. You use the get custom web components function, and there you can define all custom components that you want. So for example, here in the second code snippet, you can see that this is the way how we added the like component. We have the component name there, which is like component. And this is also how it's being used in our HTML. You can just use like component, like you can see in the code snippet above. The data item is basically the property which is going to be given to the like component. It's important to note here that attributes with the data prefix will be parsed by a method, resolve attributes, and then the data prefix will be gone and will just be item. I will show you this later on. So if you implement the guest custom web part components, you only need a name and you need the component class. And in this case, it's the My Custom Like component, and this is where your whole component will be built. This get custom web parts component is a method implemented from this important interface, the iExtensibility library. So here we see the basics of the My Custom Like component. This component extends the base web component. This is also an import that you need to do from the PnP search results package. And here in the constructor, we have also defined the SharePoint HTTP client. We need to use this to interact with the likes, like you saw in the demo. And here also in the code snippet below, you will see the connected callback function. Here you see how we can resolve these props, so how we can remove the data in the start and how we use the item now and how the item is given to the like component. I will not show the actual like component because this is just a React and just a simple like component. And here you see how we render the component, how we render it. How did we interact with the likes? We used the SharePoint API for this. We use 3 methods. We use the like method, the unlike method, and the get like status. The get like status provides us with the count, so how many likes the post has, and whether you liked the post or not. This was fairly easy to set up. To use this endpoint, we needed the current site URL, we needed the list ID and the item ID, but these 3 things were fairly easy found in the item object which we've given to the like component. And how can you add a custom handlebar? This is also done as a method that's implemented from the iExtensibility library. This method is called register handlebar customizations. Then in this method, you can call the handlebar namespace.register helper method, and there you need to give a name. So in our example, we gave the name truncate and the function, which is just a simple truncate function. Something that's important to note here is that asynchronous code can't be executed inside custom handlebars. This is basically all that we had to show. I hope we were able to show the strength of extending PnP Modern Search and show what can be achieved by extending it.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Yes, thank you very, very much. Frank, feel free to take on over the screen here and get set up there while I get you introduced. But Arne and Peter, thank you so much. Really love PnP Modern Search. It is very extensible. Thank you for sharing that with the community. Again, great job, everybody. This is their first time presenting. They smashed it out of the park, so appreciate it. And if you're unsure or unfamiliar with, handlebars, don't worry. It's kind of like riding a bike. Right, see what I did there? Handlebars, riding a bike. You'll pick it up, no problem. And hey, reach out if you need help with that. Everybody loves to assist and contribute, so don't hesitate. All right, now speaking of another first-time presenter, Frank is here. He is not a first-time presenter. He's a grizzled veteran, but Cornu is with us. And so I'm excited. Meet Onboard D, your HR onboarding coach. And Frank Cornu, take it away.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. First of all, nice work on the PnP Modern Search. Very nice. So today we will present you the solution we've made for a hackathon we did a couple of months ago. So it's called Onboarding, an HR onboarding coach. So my name is Franck Cornu. I'm Microsoft 365 solution architect at PwC Canada. Also MVP in 2 categories this year, so 365 development and 365 copilot. And I will present with my awesome teammate, Cornu. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Amer. I'm a cloud solution architect working here at PwC Canada and looking forward to this session. This is my first time, so I'm very excited for it.
Great. That would be perfectly fine. So let's start. So this solution, what is it exactly? So it's a custom engine agent aimed to help new employees to get started on their onboarding journey. So it's a tool, it's an agent for both HR staff and also new employees. So on the HR staff side, they can define a plan, a template for all employees to set a predefined task on their onboarding journey. And for new employees, they receive proactive notifications on upcoming tasks, can get a comprehensive summary of all the tasks they need to do. They can also answer general HR questions, crossing references between the task and also documents. So it's a solution made for the AI Agents Hackathon held a couple of months ago by Microsoft. So it has been in less than 3 weeks. So for the sole purpose of that hackathon, regarding the technologies we are using the bot framework, LangChain.js, Azure OpenAI, AI Search, Planner, SharePoint, and others, but these are the main ones. We have a complete documentation on that. So it means you can reproduce the solution in your own environment. We have also the GitHub repository. It's an open source solution, so you can start from there for your own requirements. And so during the session, I will go through all the concept and all of that. Just a quick word on the concept it showcases and what you will see in that demo. So we wanted to do a full integration within the Microsoft 365 stack, so leveraging Teams, Planner, SharePoint, OpenAI, and like the full stack. We also leverage the proactive notification on the bot framework. All the messages and all of that are all authenticated. We use both delegated authentication and application permission authentication with Microsoft Teams and the Graph API. We also did a good job on the tools manipulation on the LLM side. I'll show you that in a minute. Using especially artifacts within LangChain.js. Again, we will see that. And we have also implemented the human in the loop pattern to confirm some action performed by the agent. So enough slides. Let's get to the demo and show you like the final result on that of that solution. So this agent is, like I said, it's a team application there. So the first use case we have is basically the agents we've proactively notified the employees about upcoming tasks. So on the HR side, we have a team in Microsoft Teams containing a SharePoint list called employees onboarding. And every time a new employee gets onboarded or hired, they create a new entry for that employee. So the name and the start date. From there, the system creates a new plan according to a template. So on the HR side, they define the template in Planner. And every time a new item is added to that list, it creates a new instance of that plan for the user according to the template. And regularly, the agent will check the task and the completion and will proactively notify the user of upcoming tasks. So I will just simulate that behavior. So it's just like a simple call to that agent. My agent is running locally. So normally we should see the agent performing the call and notifying me. Yeah, this is it. So as you can see, this is the agent talking to me, and this is all the tasks I need to complete according to my specific plan, right? So from there, I can ask specific question about specific tasks. For instance, I don't know, maybe give me more info about number 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, this one. So I ask specific question about this one. Here we go. So I just asked question about the task. So behind the scenes, it pulls information from the task itself, but also HR can link some document to the task. For instance, I ask a specific question about this one, and I have a document link. The document is stored in SharePoint, so the agent will look both at the task description and also the content of that document. We will explain how it works behind the scenes, but that's the behavior for that. And the last action I can perform on the task is to take action of my plan. So let's say I want to close the task. I just ask the agent to close this. And normally I should get prompted by the agent to perform the action on the planner. So again, let's wait a little bit. Yeah, so it asks me to confirm the action. So basically it will perform the completion of that task in my planner, and I need to confirm that action. So it's called human in the loop process, just to make sure the agent is performing correctly. It does not take action that are not allowed. And it tells me like, okay, your task is completed. If I go to my plan and say that it's completed, right? So that's basically the behavior on that agent. So now let's go back on the presentation and take a look at how it works behind the scenes. So this solution is basically divided in 3 big parts, I would say. The first one is the employee plan setup flow. So whenever a new employee is created in the list, we have a pour automate, automating the task copy from the template defined by HR to the user profile, basically. So that's basically the first part. The second part is about search. So HR, they have the document library. They can put documents, HR-related documents on that library. And whenever a document is uploaded to that library, we trigger a logic app, indexing that document into Azure AI Search. This way, the agent can query on that search index and get info from the document according to the question. And the last part, the most important one, is the agent itself. So the agents can just answer a question directly from Teams, from the user, but also send proactive notifications, as I demonstrated. So this way, we handle both authentication, let's say, behavior. The first one on notification side is application permission, because we are not using any user identity for that. And the second part is delegated permission through the user messages. And we will detail that in a few minutes. So I will let Ganush present the two first parts with the Power Automate and the indexer part on the search side. Ganush, over to you.
Great, thank you, Frank. So let me share my screen. Okay, so as Frank explained, there are a few different building blocks that are working together in here. The first two initial steps to set up this is the planner, obviously creating the planner, which would be the template that will be used for any new hire. And then the second step is preparing a HR document to be indexed and stored in Azure AI Search. So we have our planner here. And this is the template that HR staff will create with different tasks. As Frank explained, we can attach files to it. If you want to attach a file, we can add a link to it, which I can show you later on how it will be used in our index in Azure AI Search. And then this planner, basically, whenever a new employee gets hired, a new record will be created here with the name of the employee. And then in the background, what happens is that we have our Power Automate flow to create the planner for that specific employee and create the task based on their start date. They're going to get notification as soon as they join the firm. So this is how we create the planner for the plan for each new employee. And then another thing that's happening is the ingestion of the HR documents. So sorry, let me actually move here. So what happens behind the scene, we are using logic apps for that purpose. There are multiple steps to ingest the file. We have our SharePoint site under documents, employee onboarding. Whenever a new document gets added here in this SharePoint site or folder, this workflow gets triggered. And we will get the file content, parse the document, chunk it, create embeddings, and map it to AI search schema, which I can show you, and then index it. So what happens here is that we have already created, at this point, we have already created our embedding model. Obviously, in Azure OpenAI, we have a connection here. It's added to this step, and then we have created our AI search index with the same schema as you see here: content, document name, embeddings, ID, and URL, which is the link to the trigger, link of the file that we get from the trigger. So this is our schema. This gets triggered. We consume and ingest the data in Azure AI Search, store it there. And if I go to our Azure AI Search instance under indexes, we have our index created. As you can see, the fields are pretty much the same as the schema we saw in the logic apps. It includes the document name, content, embedding, and URL, which this URL is going to be used by the agent to fetch any related documents that HR has added to any task if the user wants to get more information, basically. So this is what is happening behind the scene to ingest a document. That's how we prepare the data. We wanted to showcase how we can leverage different Azure services in this solution to index the data and consume it. Also, how easy it would be to use something like logic apps to achieve that. Also, for the purpose of creating the planner, we have used Power Automate workflows. So that's the part about how the documents get ingested. If I can show you this as well. So we have our Search Explorer here. We can run a query. Our document is indexed right now. We can run a query. But I think, Frank, you will be able to show this better in the demo for the bot. Yeah, great. Over to you, Frank.
Thanks, Golnush. So yeah, now switch to the, let's say the bot, the agent, sorry, itself. It's not a bot anymore, it's agents. So yeah, let's switch to the code. Can you see my screen properly? It's not too small? Maybe it's
yeah, no, that looks good. That looks good. Thank you. Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, as I mentioned, we are using LangChain.js for the orchestration part. So basically, it relies on the bot framework, but for the orchestration part, we are not using Teams AI library. We are using LangChain.js. So basically, understand the user action and map to specific tools. Tools being calls to the APIs, basically. This is how we define our agents. So basically, we are using OpenAI for the LLM itself. It uses GPT-4o mini, something like this, chat completion model. We define a couple of tools. So the good thing with LangChain, it's, my opinion, is the tool management. It's really simple to set up. So we define a couple of tools like specific action on the system, get user task, get the task details, search for a specific reference, something like that. So in the code, basically, we have a tool set, I would say, for each domain, like planner, search, and that. And the way it works, so you define tools like this, like LangChain, and you can perform your API call. And this tool will be called by the orchestrator. So the way it works, whenever a new user asks a question on the chat, we first authenticate that call. So it all goes through dialogue, but dialogue. So we define specific steps. I can show you all this here. So all these are all the steps. It's a waterfall dialogue, a basic one. So every time a new user asks a question, we first see if it's logged, the user is logged. So we go to that SSO process. That's for all delegated calls, actually. What we do then is we create a new authentication provider. So basically, we get the token, the access token from the SSO response, and we create an auth provider. This auth provider is passed to LangChain tools using what we call a runnable config. So this way, the auth provider can be directly used within the tools. So as you can see there, so we can define the auth provider and we pass it as a runnable config. So in the tools itself, it means we can retrieve that config. Actually, you can pass any variables you want there. And in the config, we're able to use that auth provider to perform the call on the graph APIs we want. So there is no authentication per se on the tools themselves, just like it's done above that, and we just pass the provider. So this way, we are able to manage both delegated permission and application permission, because from a tools perspective, well, it's just the auth provider, regardless of the kind of permission you are using. If I switch to the notification system, basically it's just an endpoint exposed by the agent itself. Same thing. We create an auth provider, but this time with an application permission provider, actually. And same thing, we pass the auth provider to the tools. So that is basically how it works for the authentication part. You can also see in the response, actually in the chat itself. I will just, yeah, if we open the conversation with the agent, we have the conversation with the agent. Yes, I can ask again. You may have noticed the output is an adaptive card, actually, behind the scenes. Hope it will work. It started. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this output is a combination of adaptive card and text, so the answers from the LLM. But this table is basically an adaptive card. The challenge we had on that solution is to map the data returned by tools to format that data to an adaptive card. So in LangChain, we have an option actually to use something called artifacts. So when you define a tool there, so you return two things basically, and this is set by the response formats. So in the response format, basically here you define what is the schema, the input schema for your tool. So basically the parameter that will be sent by the LLM itself, and the response format. In that case, it's set to content and artifact. What it means is you return two things. The first thing is basically the message that will be returned to the LLM to build the final answer. So in that case, it says, okay, we successfully retrieved the task for that specific tool, and the data itself. Why it is important is the data. You don't want to format your JSON output directly with the LLM and the prompt. Let's say you retrieve the task and you ask the LLM to format the task, the Swigify JSON back to a JSON object. That's the challenge. So instead of doing that, that is actually it's not really reliable. We just output the data here and we consume that data directly in the response. So what we do here, let's say on the planner tool, if I go to the dialog here and format agent response, yeah. So basically I get the response from the LLM, calling the tools. And from here, depending on the action I want to perform, so get task for user, get task detail, whatever, I can just consume the artifact, get back the artifact. Instead of the LLM answer, the raw answer, let's say in natural language, I just want the artifact there. So this way I can map the data object directly to my adaptive card, which is cards. No, it's not there. Where are my cards? There. So in the task detail, it means I can do something like this. Just build my card, pass the data object and consume my data. It's way more efficient to do this way instead of asking the agent to do that, the LM to do that actually. That was the first challenge we had. Lastly, for the human in the loop process, so how do we do that? Basically, it's also a dialogue, but the way it works is when we define our agent, which is I lost my agent. Yes, it's there. Sorry. We set a special instruction. Actually, it's not an instruction. It's a property. It's interrupt before tools. So basically, what it does, this line, after a tool has been selected by the LLM, not executed, just selected, we have the choice to review the tool selected and take action on that. So I will just show you basically what it looks like. So it's there. So it means maybe I can just run and debug to show you exactly what happened. So let's say give more info about Phi. I will go to the flow, the complete flow, just to show you. Yeah. So the LLM has been called, and from here I get all the tools that have been selected. So the LLM detected, okay, this is the get task detail tool I want to execute, and from here I have the choice to review the tool, and depending on the tool, I can say, oh, this tool needs a confirmation, a human confirmation, so I can start a new dialogue for that specific tool. Otherwise, just finalize the answer and execute the tool itself, the tool outputs. So if I go to the flow again, it finalizes the answer, and basically what it does here, it just executes all the tools that have been selected by the agent. So you go to the tools list and execute them. And from here, I get the tool message. And normally I should see the artifact there, which is my raw data here. And I have the content, which is let's say the natural language response, but also the artifact. And this way, having an artifact, I can consume it from to format my adaptive cards. So that's basically how it works behind the scenes. I will end there. Anyway, we have all the documentation available here. Actually, just show you what it looks like. Yeah. So you can reproduce the solution on your own environment. So you can test it, and you have access to the code as well. So feel free to use it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach us actually on that solution. So yeah, thank you for your time today. Thanks, David.
Yeah, Frank, awesome. Golnish, welcome to the community call. Great job, the both of you. Amazing work. And I no doubt you could go on for an hour because it is just such a complex and amazing solution, Frank and Golnish. So thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you for submitting it to the hackathon. Really amazing work. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Want to show our appreciation for all of our presenters, Mohammed, Arne, Peter, Frank, and Golnish. Amazing work. Again, would not have these opportunities without all of the amazing willingness to participate and share with the community that you all do. So thank you so much. Just a reminder, we've got our Discord server that you can all be part of. This is absolutely free as well. And there's thousands, almost 3,000 of our community members are in there. It's a great one-stop shop to kind of talk and collaborate on various topics within the community. So definitely check that out. You can tell your kids you're cool because you're on Discord. We would love to get some feedback on the call, so let us know if you have any questions or suggestions. Always looking to improve this for each and every one of you. All right, the recording will be available in 24 hours or less on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. Go hit that like and smash that subscribe button, aka.ms/community/YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter/X, Blue Sky, and LinkedIn. The next M365 Power Platform bi-weekly call will be 2 weeks from today, July 31st, and we'll be back next week with the Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework call on the 24th. Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your week, an amazing weekend. Thank you for all that you're doing. Really appreciate it. We would not have this without all that you do. Aww. That's right. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.